Talon are able to beat this draft, this is the definition of an entity draft. This is the definition of an entity draft, right? That could be demoralizing going into game 3. They just did it on entity to Talon. I mean, it was pretty Talon feeling, right? Savage on the Pudge. You give a carry style hero over to Mikoto. KP able to play much more of that aggressive style, and you beat it. And you made them look a little bit silly going into the later stages doing so. But now if you're able to turn that around, be able to get the win on your end, maybe things start to turn a little bit more in your favor, and going into that game 3, Entity start to doubt themselves a little bit. You might get the draft edge.
All right. It's all going to have to start off the back of Mikoto. Leshrac needs to have a strong lane into Storm's Visage, something that he is incredibly comfortable on. Proto has a lot of lanes that he can rotate to, playing with some stuns in the side lanes, and I think the Earthshaker's rotation to secure power runes are going to be important. An Entity will not be able to really address the Leshrac until he gets BKB, so it's Mikoto for him.
Q was trying to get in position with the Fisher there to be able to make first use out of this Metamorphosis. Savage should be able to get a few trades here with Toby, but of course Marcy, pretty tanky, good movement speed, good HP pool, good armor, good right-click damage. It's just good at everything.
I like the setup that we have here with the Maledict into Pure, kind of playing high down bottom with KP. These are two really strong laners. I wonder if Pure is actually going to have a bit more of a difficult time than they would have initially expected with this Pudge pick.
Yeah, I mean, Maledict's always good at being able to deal with those high HP heroes, but I mean, the Flesh Sheep deals with a lot of that damage over time that's coming through as well, right? So it does go either way.
They say Maledict is the tank killer?
Yeah, but a little bit less so the Pudge, just because you've got that inbuilt damage block, you know? Even just the Dawnbreaker, a lot of that damage comes through from the Celestial Hammer burn.
You see the Imba tank is just unkillable.
Oh yeah.
I thought we'd see a day where TI Pudge is being played as a position 1. Some people coming back into Dota and then all of a sudden they see a Pudge farming in the safe lane.
Oh, here we go, Pudge.
This might be an opening, yeah.
Unkillable,
Into the range creep. A couple of bounces gonna pay off, but Kataomi holding the stun until KP plays around with the Starbreaker. So we'll instantly be able to cancel that, buying enough time for Pure to get out.
Sure to make best use out of the magic stick, popping it right before the tick of the Maledict, making sure to minimize the damage that he's taking. Of course, he still needs to secure that farm for himself, so can't afford to put too many points into the Flesh Sheep early, and they're actually going to get the hook back onto Hyde. No mana on Kataomi. Oh, and a lucky bounce.
First blood. Oh, the creep's got it. So the gold's going to be split between the two. Shuaya finding that little bit of extra experience in gold to potentially help out. Top lane Q will take some damage himself as well, but a fissure. So holding Toby away.
Going quite well in game number 1 as well for Talon coming out of the laning stage. I believe all 3 lanes were in their favor. And they had that Morphling to deal with in the late game. Not so much of the late game issue that they've got on Talon this time. Oh, actually Savage worried about the laning stage for now.
Oh, look at the beautiful setup they have. Coldfit's going to find the block, and Entity strike back, and also in the other lane, Hyde's also going to go down. Kataomi under the tower. It wasn't even the hook as well to be able to secure the kill. How did he get there?
Confident off the back of the first blood that they were able to get. I was looking at top as well, so I didn't see it. Look, skill's going away. Kodo, like lead. Stormer, but this hero that absolutely loves to play off of those levels, especially if you can get into the early level 6. It means, you mentioned previously that Mikoto is going to have the capability to make some solid rotations and connect on some kills, particularly towards bottom, but not a lane that you want to leave. Even though Stormer doesn't have that same rotation potential, if you move away, he's just going to start taking your tower.
Not now.
Movement have to be so goddamn fast if the Lesh is ever going to consider about leaving this lane. Having a Stormer in an open time just to be able to put some damage in the tower really could be a big issue here for Talon. You get an early T1 tower mid, then all of a sudden the map just opens up.
Yeah, maybe on the back of a lucky power rune, not just the side that you're able to protect, but also a haste rune would probably be the best case scenario for Mikoto. Deep again onto Pure, bottom side, lots of damage coming through, but he's got the full magic stick available if they wanted to go for this turnaround, and they land it.
do. Pure's able to sidestep. Well, Kataomi's still getting a decent amount of damage out of Hyde. They'll continue to chase him down. Another stun coming up shortly, though, from the Sven, so Hyde's going to be a bit cautious.
He's got the raindrops.
KP,
All right. Back underneath the tower. No way Pure to die when he's all the way back there. Maybe a secondary use, and, well, even just emphasizing the raindrops on KP's side as well. They know that they need to be casting their spells fairly frequently in this lane. They're going to be slowing down Pure's Pudge at all. Just pump faking the hook right now. They're going to go for another one.
See if they're going to be able to kill him off this time, though. Kataomi again with the Stormhammer is going to prevent Talon from going for this deep dive attempt, and he might end up going down. KP dancing through the tree line, but look at the Sven. Knows exactly where the Dawnbreaker is chasing himself away. Get some distance. Maybe they'll go for the easy kill in Hyde. Dancers only delaying this, and they'll give the kill over to Pure.
Getting a little bit tired of farming right underneath the safety of his tower. Wanting to back off. A little bit safer about it. He's even able to secure that siege creep as well during that team fight. So nice little XP boost, and now sitting down here all on his lonesome. Gonna look to shove the lane in, and that enables Kataomi to make a move elsewhere.
It's really important that Talon didn't get this power in for Makoto. Although they are still going to rotate some members. Fissure's off the mark, but it does at least put the Ancient Apparition into an awkward position. They will be able to secure the kill onto Fishman.
They deal with the siege creep as well, so that early scary timing around the Visage Familiars is going to be quite so bad. Face for Savage as well. Terrorblade. Want to be sticking into a lot of these lanes if you're playing on Entity, and for someone like the Terrorblade with the high armor, even on the illusions, go for a kill onto him though.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So much meat.
Savage. Hopefully Proc's going to be there. Fissure should be able to disrupt it for the moment. Instead, he's actually going to charge on forward to Fishman. They're relying on the body blocks. Q's doing a pretty goddamn good job at the moment, and Q helps secure the kill thanks to the illusion. So beautifully done from Talon. He might not be able to get out though as Toby continuing to chase him through the tree line. Another fissure up surely here from Qf will be used for
Fancy
some distance, in fact. All right, Q just steps on out, and now a lot of damage into the tower as well with the catapult.
Yeah, have to be careful about overstaying your welcome though on Savage. Sitting down at half HP, realizes that they are going to want to put a lot of pressure in on top of him, so leveling up the Sunder instead of going that full farm efficiency route. Go for another kill here onto Pure. Nothing for it to be able to bounce to though, but don't get the interrupt onto KP. Previously, Kataomi has been pretty good at being able to save the Stormhammer for the Starbreaker. Pure still healthy enough that he's going to be able to back off.
Well, the power is spawning shortly as well. And there are going to be two members nearby to try and secure this. The 50-50 will go Talon's way. It's like an invis for them now to play with.
Don't really want to be leaving the lane, do ya? Kodo just positioning himself back here. And still going into the Bloodstone despite the Ancient Apparition. So you're going to need to get some super deep dives in onto the backline, and they don't really have the heroes to be able to do it. Might go for a kill here onto Kataomi. The Observer Ward scouted out his position, so Pure, he's going to walk back away towards the left-hand side of the jungle and scout out all of this movement. Nice ward coverage coming through there from the Sven on Entity.
Invisibility!
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Placed down in the mid lane, despite the fact that there's the sentry there. A nice little injection of gold, and more importantly, experience for Q, but it's going to look to soak up that XP anyway, playing around the top side. Just playing bottom though, just the 2 points in the Diabolic Edict, but they want to try and take the tower, open up the map for the TV.
Has been killed.
Should be able to.
Radiant's bottom tower.
As soon as Toby gets his 6, Savage has to step back into the jungle. He is under a ward and he's relatively low health, but Entity just going to continue to try and play behind Toby. Without Stormstormer here though, their push is a lot weaker than what Talon's is.
Dire's top tower.
Talon are incredibly happy if they're able to claim this one, but right now Makoto, he's prioritizing his farm. Actually looking to make a defense up here.
The top lane, Sunder's out. Here come the TPs.
Under attack.
Who's gonna try and enter as well? They'll need the
Lucky
Fissure to
bounce.
hold back Toby for the moment. Instead, try and catch up the Fishman, but not the case. There's a lot of reactions top, so instantly mid lane. Hero and Storm are trying to do some damage into the tier 1 tower.
He's got the ulti as well.
Aggressively glyph as well.
So I think Makoto might have the confidence to walk on in, just understanding that the Dawnbreaker just reached that level 6. All that extra movement speed isn't going to enable that. The Grave Chill being used by Stormer to get away from Makoto.
Lane Savage.
They protect.
Oh, the cold feet proc jump in from Toby. Now with the turnaround, they know he committed into the middle. They need a lucky bounce, but the Ancient Apparition's going to be able to separate, but it does not matter. All they needed was one stun to get the kill. Now bottom lane as well. Pure's going to make the attempt onto KP. Hataomi might be able to get some distance. KP attempts the ultimate, but stopped just short. Thanks to the Storm Hammer. Great rotation with Sven being able to combine with the Pudge.
Able to use the Starbreaker as well to be able to get away. So again, more great movements. Kataomi, the MVP so far this game, with the amount of protection he was able to provide for Pudge. A lot of this great vision to be able to scout him out and that early net worth lead that he's going to need. Right now he's sitting behind, but there's a couple of waves and kills that he's been able to claim all on the back of this spin.
Talon though found 2 towers, top and bottom, through their name, and still Entity yet to find their first objective of the game. So what are they waiting for here from Radiant? What are the items they need to potentially ball up and try and find that objective?
I think Stormer might have one of them coming out to him, which is the drums. Again, you're playing alongside this Sven, right? So you just want to be able to clump up and go. Just lacking a little bit on the mana front, so Stormer pops the clarity. Gonna look to try and fix the lane. And Pure, even though he still has multiple components left until that Aghanims is up, they're going to go for the smoke. They just want the pick off into the objective, especially if someone's going to TP in here underneath the Observer Ward. Talon
Wrap around both sides. Stormstormer just gets out of danger. They might be eyeing up Savage though.
Yeah, and they land the hook.
Oh, beautiful hook from Pure. Sets up for the Ice Blast perfectly. A Fissure too late to disrupt the Dismember, and now this is the opening that Entity been waiting for.
Dyer's middle
Instantly
tower
just popping that first drum charge, understanding that, look, we can use all 8, but they're going to be for high quality objectives. It's going to get us closer to those secondary timings. By the time they're all expired, we'll have the boots of bearing. We just want to keep running on forward.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
Are scanning.
A little bit passive right now on Talon.
Yeah. So what can they get out of the map with this now? Because you know more than likely Entity, the next kind of plays to move to top. The Q's slowly trying to work towards the Blink Dagger. Savage going to try and shove out bot as well, but they won't have an opportunity to try and trade the map. So just up to them to try and get slowly towards his next set of items.
Right now. Just doing his job, standing between where all of Entity were looking to play as well as Savage. Try and catch out any of these ganks that are coming through. Not wanting to necessarily shove in that bottom lane too far because Savage does need to still have the lane.
This is a big pickoff.
It would be.
Q's going to move in. A lot of commitment out of the ultimates, but they'll be rewarded as Talon. Now it can look to clean up some of the familiars as well. One will get away.
Radiant's middle tower.
They'll get a plus 100 gold. Beautiful kill. First death of the game here on Storm's Visage.
Big commitment, right? 3 ultis used for that purpose, but he is the main one putting this tower pressure onto the map. So if you can take him out, well worth expending all those resources. If it goes late, once again, Talon are going to be the ones that are favored, and the win probability leaning there right now.
Radiant's middle tower.
A great start for the boys on Dire. 3,000 net worth lead. Savage on top with his comfortable Terror Blade. Will be working into the Mantis Star, looks like, as his next item after the Dragon Lance. Still Entity. They are the ones that can now look to get an objective off the map, or even just look to get map control, though. That's the important thing. You know that a lot was used just then for Talon.
That's why Toby played so aggressive up top there, shoving in the top lane. And take the rat hero out of the man, but you can't take... Well, I messed up that name, but you know what I mean.
It's alright, it's alright. Happens to the best of us.
It's a fast witch doctor.
I don't know about this.
That's not fast enough.
Just, yeah, no, maybe not fast enough. Pure's just like baiting his life. That's what I mean, Fishman combination. You love to see it. These two supports stun into Ice Blast. I mean, the rotations we saw out of them in game 1, just the synergy, the chemistry these two have is incredible, and we're seeing it once again now.
Kodo's nearly got the Bloodstone, though. Actually has it right now if they were wanting to be able to make a kill attempt. But all of his attention given up top there, potentially being able to try and get a kill onto Toby, but he's able to back off in time. They look to do something with this. Just the arcane boots right now, not even the magic stick to let's happen. He would love to be able to catch out one of these observer wards that placed around the map just for that gold injection, and he's going to do just that. Underneath the observer ward, the gold bounty as well. Little benefit being given over to Q. They got to try and create a little bit of space for him to farm as well, though.
That they do. Love to have this Blink Dagger on Q. Give the Earthshaker a little bit of farm to be that counter initiator. But Entity, they're doing the same thing in regards to their carry. You were just off from the triangle, farming up some stacks, getting close to the scepter. Really seems like Entity aren't too worried with the status quo of this game. Once they get this scepter onto pure, then they are ready to try and make some plays.
It is still going to come down to that one key engagement, though, isn't it? Just that timing. Once you've got the Aghanim Scepter, once you're starting to work towards it on Stormstormer as well, just for that pick-off potential, because that's all they want to do on Entity. That is their MO. Initial pick-off into Swarm, where they've gotten them a great passage through the regional qualifiers to TI, hoping to get them through to the lower bracket. Found a pick.
That's I mean, yeah, a bit of a freebie here. Has some boys nearby, but no one really in a position to protect him. It was already a lot of damage at the start, so Entity are going to continue to back up, make sure they don't give away any more free kills. Does at least secure the power rune once again for the Lesh to play with. It is a DD, not the greatest, but at least a refill nonetheless.
He's going to back up, though, on Toby, walking underneath this vision on the Radiant Ancients area. Thing is, though, with Hyde, with all these kills that he's been able to snipe, he's 3-3-2, so he's been able to finish up that Voodoo Switcheroo Aghanim shot pretty close to immediately after it hit that 15-minute timing. So a good amount of damage coming through. And again, we were mentioning before the strength of the Maledict against these beefy heroes. Well, he's got it maxed out.
They're grouping up like they want to smoke here from Entity. Looks like they would not wait for Toby's BKB. 700 gold too far away from them. What's the objective? Where would they like to try and take a fight here with this next play from them?
I'd say top is the easiest place to do it, right? They don't have any vision there right now, but this is always going to be the safest place to be able to take any kind of tower objectives. There, KP just able to get away, just because it's so much harder to get that pincer movement in for the counter initiation, which is the strength of Talon's draft right now. Closer to it as well. 300 gold away from Q, from being able to pick that up for himself.
So much riding on this game. One game, Entity away of making it into the playoff stage. I'd love to play in front of a C crowd.
So with Talon, though, I mean, that's the thing that they've been dreaming about for a long time. Got 2 teams guaranteed with Boom being able to get that tiebreaker victory, but they freeze a chance.
You see the Witch Doctor, they might even be able to scout up Makoto. Use the Voodoo off the mark, but it will not matter. They'll still be able to chase him down and get the kill. But what can this open up out of the map here from them? Can they kill onto the position 5?
Not too much.
They're the greatest.
Yep, such a low death timer that it's not going to be in all that much. KP not even considering saving the poor Witch Doctor coming through, and well, even some of the players still having that muscle memory coming through from the previous iteration where the Voodoo only lasted 2 seconds. Or a bit of an early throw out of the hook there. It happens. There we go.
See this?
Wraith Pact. Link Dagger on Q. Witch Doctor ready to respawn. Photo as well. Is got a Blink Dagger himself. Close in onto the back lines. Try and take out this Ancient Apparition or the Visage. They'd be the prime targets. Fix the lanes first, though. I don't think Savage is going to be part of this. Needs to just keep showing on the lane.
Fight me!
Does seem like he wants to fight, though, going his Hurricane Pike build on Savage. So he's going to group up with the smoke.
Stormstormer's
Entity
going to
counter smoke themselves as well. Q's ready. Oh no, the opening. Oh no, the air cover Makoto. Into the middle, trying to get the damage out. He's going to be cautious over the Ice Blast connecting. And now the hook back as well. Can they protect the Leshrac? The Solar Guardian comes out too late. As Entity, they'll to split away. Topi's eyes are there. for the
Stormstormer.
moment, but it looks like Stormstormer, he's the one that's in trouble. Pure's gonna look to re-enter the fight, trying to get onto 23 Savage, but the fissure holds them back as Talon, even though the Echo Slam didn't go their way, even though Makoto went down to star, they will still get 3 members from Entity.
I'm not sure what happened there. Did he get hit by the familiars once? They were standing in position to be able to do it, or might have just been some of those nervous fingers, the sweaty fingers on the mouse. I know mine are at the moment, so I can't imagine what Q's situation was going to be. Yeah, I think they did. They did. Very nice micro coming out there from Stormstormer, but again, you hit 3 big timings. They even hit the Ice Blast as well, so that Solar Guardian wasn't going to do anything. Another solo pick off there with the Maledict, with the Voodoo Witcheroo, but
is under attack.
weren't able to claim it. Odo got the regen rune to be able to play around with now, so too often that you see an Earthshaker draft want to up the tempo as much as Talon do right now, but they understand that point where they're feeling quite strong.
Gonna be a nice opening here from Entity. Q's nearby to protect it with the fissure. They're trying to split away and just poke from afar. Maybe the Ice Blast will do the work, because there's nothing Hyde can do. Should end up ticking down.
Switcheroo in 1 second.
Ooh, very nice, okay. So it reveals the position of the ward on the high ground. All the lanes in a good position, and then at Worthley continuing to go for Talon. That was a really big timing for Entity. You had this Scepter on Pure. I do not...
You didn't have the
that was the first...
on Toby.
Okay, yeah, that was. I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
Maybe you used it just before when they tried to go for that solo kill on him?
Yeah.
Top lane, Fishman, freebie for Makoto. Even KP nearby just in case some more boys show up from Entity. Okay, not a freebie, never mind. Love to see it for the neutral creep. So, again, Entity with a 7,000 deficit. You feel like they need to wait for Pure's BKB because a lot of spell damage is coming out from Talon's lineup.
It is indeed, and not just the spell damage, but also the regeneration coming through, right? If you're not hitting with that Pulse Nova with any damage, both of Makoto and Pure want to be in the same areas of these team fights, right? Of course, you'd love to be able to get some right clicks off and some spells on Makoto, but as long as you got the Edict and the Pulse Nova and the Bloodstone running, you're fine with the state of affairs. So if you could just turn that around so that at least the Pulse Nova isn't hitting, you're going to be able to have a lot more potential to be able to take out this Leshrac.
Scanning.
They're continuing to grow, and the man that everyone has their eyes on, Savage, is continuing to free farm as well. Enough almost for that second ultimate orb. Looks like he's going to be going to the Scardy, however, and this is a big item to deal with the Pudge. One item we were mentioning in particular and how you can address this here, and once the TB gets this, it's a great timing in this matchup.
They're basically doing what Entity did to them last time around just because of this Terrorblade, right? Push in multiple lanes, punish this lineup that wants to group up together, and then just go as a full 5. All of your movements are going to be so telegraphed if you've just got creeps hitting into your towers consistently. It also does as it gives time for Q to get his farm. The first Echo Slam wasn't on the mark because of some great micro from Stormstormer, but he's going to have that Aghanim Shard up in 200 gold as well.
That he is, and also very close to the level 15, so more than likely going to go down to that minus armor. So if you win a team fight, objectives can get a lot easier to claim as well.
Yeah, Stormstormer's got it. Going into the AC immediately after.
Wait for it.
It's actually kind of crazy how one team fight completely changes the outcome of this game, right? Talon get a victory, maybe they take a tier 2 tower, they set up more control around the Radiant jungle, they get Savage to be more and more farmed because it's starting to accelerate away from all of these Entity heroes. With Entity, a single team fight victory, you can just burst down a lane, maybe even go into Roshan to get that secondary life for yourself.
Yeah, and that teamfight victory is really going to be set off the back of Stormstormer, trying to find the Earthshaker in the back line. If you can try and...
Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like this is... you got to try and target down this Earthshaker. If you can take Q out of the equation, love to see that. Potentially even the Witch Doctor as well. Low priority on Hyde's hero. Definitely Q needs to be the man that's killed off, and well, he's leaving the charge. A blind blink onto the high ground. Toby's got great positioning. A BKB hook as well. In fact, he wants to jump in. Toby's ready to take the team fight. He's going to charge in as well as Hyde's in. There's both support just going down to start the fight, but they're not going just yet. As KB enters off the back of the Solar Guardian, but it's not the fight they were hoping for. Well, the Makoto with the cleanup. He's also jumping in one by one as Talon just going in mindlessly. They don't have all 5 members nearby to turn it around. It's now Savage. He's on the run. He needs the boys. He needs some way to keep himself alive. And with a buyback,
So much meat.
here to turn. Entity will start to back up, and that's a big victory for Radiant.
Yeah, they even use the Metamorphosis for that. They really want to try and desperately get this pick off. They've still got the ward to play around. That's what Q's walking up towards, but it's got to be underneath the vision. They're going to have to back off entirely, and, wow, big win coming through from Entity. 2 buybacks being used only on supports, but, wow, once again, with the silent as the Grave picked up, yeah, he's looking to go for those single pickoffs, particularly onto those supports, just so that you can guarantee the Roche pit for yourselves. Q would be a great target for them right now.
Yeah, this game is wide open now. Like, you get a kill onto a support, all of a sudden that's Roche, and you can just start to walk it down with some of the early game items that we're about to hit. It was just very awkward for Talon. You don't get the greatest initiation, then you try and jump in to protect Hyde. It felt like they were in 2 minds trying to take that team fight.
See them walk into Roche.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Get rid of the Observer Ward, but do they want to contest this on Talon? Not the Earthshaker. The way is to be able to make that big jump happen, but seems like they're still playing a little bit scared, wanting to play the lane game a little bit more. Makoto shoving it out, as well as Savage on the bottom side. They forced out the Glyph previously, so maybe they're thinking that even if this Roche goes down, they're going to need to play a little bit more defensively to address the situation with the lanes.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Pure Ages, level 18 as well.
Well, they've got the consistent damage, though, with the Bloodstone. If you're able to get that, giving the DD rune over to Savage here through the bottle. Potential to be able to fight. He's just going to do his best to try and shove this one out. Can't go too far forward, though. The stun!
Ooh, it's a weird timing. They're trying to
Pure's
still
got
wrap
blink.
Katomi.
Dire structures.
Able to catch up to him. Pure can throw up as well. Wait, might just get him on. Oh, Pure still goes in for it. They've got the Ice Blast follow-up. People are starting to rotate back. KP's going to play off the back of the magic immunity. That buy might be enough to get him out. Yeah, looks like it's the case.
They'll still get the tier 2 tower, though. It's a tier 2 for a tier 2. Bottom lane being taken at the time. Makoto taking away
Dire's top tower
Radiant
is
outpost.
falling. Radiant's bottom tower
Play
is
that
under
little
attack.
bit more within the jungle. Stacking up the creeps, trying to get that little bit of an extra damage boost through some of those tier 3 items. Psychic Headband, not too bad for an Earthshaker to be able to pick up, just playing a little bit more from range. Sure, he's not the one picked off at the start of these fights, and feel like the play and the call is to never let Q go first on the Earthshaker again. Makoto, once he gets the BKB, that's going to be his main role, create that havoc.
Create the havoc and allow KP to act as a counter initiator. Or that's where also Q can come into play. You're not the ones that want to be starting the fights. You want Entity to group up. Put themselves in a position when you can then spellcast freely.
Kind of want KP to go a Blink Dagger as well. Just get it onto the front lines, layer out that Mage Slayer, reduce the damage for 6 seconds, and it's all the time that Alesh needs. That big impact. He's got the blink.
That's a big
on his
kill.
fingers.
Ooh, the hook from Pure. No choke point. Q. Yo, they got him. Oh no! Beautiful hook from Pure. It's 70 seconds without the Earthshaker. That's some objectives now.
Their best to try and fix the lanes again. Makoto
Are scanning.
for that movement up towards the top side. Might even consider taking back this outpost just so they don't have that instant close in. Mid lane. Be able to try and cut it on Pure, maybe catching someone that's setting up for that purpose, and well, they've been spamming out the use of the drums. There's those boots of bearing I was talking about before as well, so even some of the slows coming through from the reflection from the Celestial Hammer going to be quite as impactful for disrupting this lineup that again just wants to consistently run at you.
Net worth lead is slowly being cut down here for an Entity. What was up to almost 10,000 gold for Talon is now down to 5k. This Ages giving them a lot here for Entity, and they still have just under 2 minutes of the second life to play with.
Just resummoned the familiars as
Dire's
well.
middle tower is under attack.
Stormstormer, he reached level 18. If it was scouted out by the Terrorblade, if Savage was watching down on the bottom side of the map, so Stormstormer would be a massive pick-off here. Has the buyback, but that gem mean that you're not going to have those secondary familiars, even if he does make the buyback.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Looking for an individual pick-off here. He wants to burst someone from 100 to 0. Find anyone. KP just playing in the Radiant Triangle, realizing that this is not where Entity want to be right now. They want some value out of this Aegis. They've only got a minute left. They'll probably get the tier 1 tower for it. Tier 2 tower. I think they're happy enough to make that trade. Ooh, Pure. Kind of choked in here. Expected the blink.
Radiant's top tower
admire that
is under
play.
attack.
Jesus Christ, you Makota, the balls on him not to blink away, just stay there. How many people would have tried to blink further into the tree? Like, who knows if the hook connects, but the fact that he just stays there and no one else from Entity we're also trying to wrap around.
Ice in his veins, man.
You got to be like that when a game like this, when the tournament stakes are on the line. But a young player like Makota who's never been at TI is always a big reason of why Talon being able to take games.
Honestly, any of his teams, you know, back on the old boom, the full Indonesian stack, it was him solo carrying a lot of these games. He's level 18 now. 3 points into the Pulse Nova. They're going to try and time out this Aegis with their initiation perfectly. Stormstormer, he doesn't have the Aegis.
Yeah, they know that Pure is down near the Ancients, so they're completely isolated. No one's playing behind Stormstormer and Talon. Great read from there, just jumping, getting rid of the Visage, recognizing that no one was playing behind him as Entity was split as a team.
Gem retrieved as well, so they can start to get a little bit more of that map control out. KP's the one holding on to it right now. To be checking a lot of those high ground areas. Hyde actually has one too, so probably wants one back into base.
Under attack.
Double gem for both buys, double the power. Makota? He's out. Fisher is well to the shot, but he's going to be blocked into the middle. Toby's going to try and clean in with the finishing blow, and he's got the damage required. The hook as well again from Pure, dragging KP back, but look at the respect. As soon as Savage shows up, Entity isn't about continuing on with the team fight. They're going to turn and blow Kataomi. Now Pure might be the one that's in trouble. Still comfortably sitting on crowd. Pure just jumps in. This man tries to give a damn straight onto Q's location. And Savage is out of metamorphosis situation as well. Turns with his Sunder. Can they get the finishing blow? They finally deal with Pure's Pudge. And now they can go for the remaining forces. But Entity have enough time to back up. Fishman and Toby out of danger.
So far forward though, Toby actually claiming up that double damage. Stormstormer would have loved to be able to pick up that one. Still trying to play around this Silent as the Grave, but Talon, for the most part, they are clumping together a fair amount. Look at all that damage. Nearly 8.4k just done by that AoE rot. Poor soul. I mean, they needed to interrupt the Dismember, but, well, don't really want to get caught in harm's way like that. I thought he would have been able to Ogre Seal Totem away, but it still had about 12 seconds left on the cooldown, looking to make that aggressive play first. I always laugh whenever I see Kataomi pop the God Strength on the support spin, like that's going to do much. What a great turnaround.
Look at this thing go to work. Just farming, just chilling. Scary team fight though for Talon today. Pure is a goddamn beast on this Pudge. We've seen him had so much success. He's going to be going to the Refresher Orb next item as well, so you will now need some way to deal with the Dismember. Those spells are going to be able to do it. Potentially Lotus needs to be the result. Maybe even a 4-star just to get out of the rot range and disrupt the potential Ice Blast follow-up as well.
Familiar's killed off. That's a bit of a big kill. Stormstormer's going to have to retreat back. Still 10 seconds only for him to have the back online, and they're going to instantly go for a smoke here. Not under any kind of Radiant Vision, and I love the itemization from Savage. He's gone into the Daedalus, so we know how tanky Pudge is.
Fight. Torch in the pop. Pure gets a jump.
All the Maledict's too
Straight
late.
to Chewie goes, trying to take the Earthshaker out of the fight. He'll turn to now address the turret blade issue as well as Toby's going to follow in pursuit. They haven't got the damage for Savage at the moment. Opportunity for this Thunder to turn it around. It's a 10th ward. Secures the kill to Pure, but simultaneously TB will take his spill. Do they have the damage out to deal with Makoto as well? Toby's attempting, but Makoto stands his ground off the back of the Blood Sword. He's able to get out, but can the rest of Entity live? Hitomi and Storm Summer once again out to the left side, and they will be okay.
So back and forth, these fights, man. Honestly, that was so close to going even further in Talon's favor. If we're able to have a look at the replay, Hyde was just a split second too slow on the Maledict. I think he opted to go for the stun first instead, and it meant that you were able to get off that BKB on Pure's Pudge, meaning that he wasn't taking all of that Maledict damage at the start of the team fight. Make sure you're quick on the fingers there. Does change the outcome of a game. Here we go. Have a look at Hyde. He looks to get the start off instead, but if he just uses Maledict immediately, BKB, if you pop it after the fact, change the amount of damage that gets ticked over time. So
Dire are
big that they were able to claim that kill just with the tip of the Death Ward, but they're able to turn it around so they're not going to lose too much back control on Entity.
Both cores almost going down. Makoto almost dying.
Big smiles.
Savage just getting the Sunder. Yeah, big smiles. You got a 10,000 net worth lead, but really this game is just so goddamn close.
We still haven't seen that big Echo Slam, right? That team fight changing Echo. Great one for picking off Stormstormer, yeah.
Oh, but they're going to see him first. Vortex stops the blink and the rest of the team will charge up the higher ground as Toby even playing with the BKB just to enable the kill. Roche is up as well. You might have to buy back.
Oh, choppers are looking sharp.
The BKB on KP as well. Gonna have that for this fight, and yep, straight into the Roche pit. All of that minus armor coming through from the Visage Familiars, even popping the Unleash. Negative shard on the AA for being able to interrupt those blink daggers. That smoke popped. A little bit lucky with the positioning for sure. Immediately afterwards, just placing down the Observer Ward and being able to back away. ED at bottom. Gonna pick it up. Smoke's not gonna connect.
Gave the Ag Shard as well to Pure. So we got the Smember save.
Yeah. Wanting to save Stormstormer. He is such a big portion of the damage output.
Not a lot in it is this game too. They're going to make an attempt on Pure. So we see the TP. Although the Fisher's going to come out too fast before the reactions. Q in with the Echo as well, but Pure is okay. Thanks to Kataomi. And he's going to protect a fellow brother as well as Entity. Get out of danger. And they're TPing in with the Outburst Fishman. He's going to get brought down. At least gets the ice box off before he dies, but they're on to Savage before the BKB. The chain control is going to be perfect. They hold the Storm Hammer into the last second. And now Pure can look to go for some more members as well, as Talon just need to get out, but Makoto's in trouble. There's going to be no escaping here for the Leshrac. He's just going to hope he can take some of the Entity members into the grave along with him. And Fisher to help out for the moment. The Bloodstone active as well, but it's just not enough damage. Without other people nearby on Talon, they might even get Q as well. In the lane, Q.
There you go.
Q, is it going to go? Oh, no way! What are you doing to them? Oh, this man's Pudge is so nutty.
Pure carnage, that's what it is. And just another, ooh, what a performance coming through from this young man. He wants to be on the big stage. He wants to keep his spot at CI. And the damage output coming through from him is just phenomenal.
Holy 10, 3, and 10 on Pure's Pudge.
That hook accuracy, nearly every second hook landing. Pretty damn solid, keeping the lanes pushed in, letting the creeps do the work on the bottom side, and testing for the buybacks as well.
Doesn't matter though. When Savage respawns, he doesn't have meta. This is probably a full set. You could stick around potentially for more. Oh, respect. Never mind. Never mind. We back up. We chill.
there in that team fight, right? They don't find that perfect initiation. They don't wait for the full lineup to join in and hide throughout all this. I know he gets clipped by the Ice Blast, but he didn't have the Voodoo Restoration going. Maybe that would have enabled Makoto to survive just that couple of extra seconds, give a little bit more impact into the team fight, fighting under some pretty decent vision. But when it comes down to it, if you're just getting picked off without being able to use the Sunder to make use out of the hero on your team that's got the majority of the net worth, it's gonna mean nothing.
And we see Talon itemizing as well into Savage isn't going Lincolns and no one's going Lotus Orb as well against his Dismember, against the Stormhammer. So it really is just going to come down to Savage and his button pressing. If he gets the BKB off fast enough with Pure jumping into the middle.
These players are good enough that
bottom tower is under attack.
you can't just expect them to run into Savage and allow him to press his buttons, right? You've got to make stuff happen that enable him to be able to do that, to cause some chaos, to cause some confusion as well. So Makoto, he's going into the Scythe of Vice right now. He's got some defensive, of course, with the BKB, the Shivas, the Bloodstone. I wonder if something like a Kaya San would be a better option, just so that he's not always getting that stun back to back to back. A little bit of that damage amp, make it so that he is a little bit more of that priority.
I'll quickly just mention as well that another item, we do actually have KP going into the Lotus, so he has swapped it up a little bit. Also, who else have they run into actually? Hive. Easy kill for Pure to find. And if Stormstormer micros in the tree line, he might find KP, but Dawn's going to try and TP out. So Entity just sweeping across the map. Trying to address some of the lane issues they have. Toby's got a DD now as well to work with, along with a Daedalus that he picked up a couple of minutes ago. So this Marcy is going to do a ridiculous amount of damage.
Savage right now just holding on to the buyback. He'll get it after this creep wave, but does he choose to go into this Blink Dagger? Basically doesn't want to drop any of these items though, so I completely understand if he just wanted to hold everything for now. Wait for the right team fight, play a little bit more aggressively so that if he does get picked off, he'll have that secondary life. But they'll back off in time, and once again, looking to go for a smoke after this creep wave gets cleared out. Double creeps. Aegis is gone. Can they look to make something out of this? They're going to need to do it soon because Pure's closing in on that level 25. Might even have it by the time they reach him.
And speaking about some levels as well, Kataomi he's got level 20. Somehow the Sven is the same level as the Terrorblader. This is a big Talon. Plus 10 Warcry armor. You've also got the Aghanim Shard helping out as well passively. This is going to mitigate a lot of the damage from Savage. Now it does have the Daedalus to help out a little bit against some of the armor.
Yep,
the Enchanted Quiver as well.
Assault Cuirass as well, doing a little bit of work for Entity, but yeah, exactly what you're saying. It just powers them up so much. Even probably just going to look to provide that sidekick over onto Stormstormer as well to enable those right clicks coming through.
You got the 25 now on Pudge. The potential double Dismember. You're just dead through this combo. If Savage gets caught out with double Dismember, he's gone. There's nothing they can do. So they're going to play around their ward. Look at the Visage Familiar scouting him out. Makoto gets a jump, but it's going to be Pure that's in the middle first. They're trying to play around with the BKB, but it won't be enough to protect Makoto. With the right-click damage from Toby, too much for them to
got him.
And now Pure as well. They caught him out. Savage is in trouble. What can they do to keep the Terrorblade alive? He'll somehow make it back to the high gun. Turns it around with the Sunder as well, but it's Savage against the world. They don't have buybacks on Makoto as well. The TV needs to be the main damage source, and Pure's not that's not the case. Into the middle he goes, and down goes Savage. A buyback is there, but it will do nothing as Entity will go for the last component. KP's Dawnbreaker. Can he make it away? He'll just scurry back to the base, but Entity.
I don't know. Fake back.
Pure again. The looks you wouldn't expect it any other way. Pure has been on point from start to finish this game.
They're not going to call GG. You can't. This is your elimination game potentially for Talon, but mid lane at least pushing in fairly healthily. Even the level 25 on Stormstormer as well. So extra familiar to be able to play with when he goes for the resummon. They can just look to go potentially for the tier 4s as well. Look to close this one out. Buyback might need to be forced here. Staying all the way back in base. Wanting to risk getting caught out on his own. There's no point in holding on to the Philosopher's Stone anymore. He needs to play with an active item. I think they're going to give him too much more value, though. Maybe Psychic Headband. He's going to need to do something now.
Dire's middle tower.
Gotta go. Drone's gonna be exposed. Surely it'll fall pretty fast.
Dire's
It's an early BKB usage out of Makoto, and they're gonna hook him into the middle as well. Solid Guardian will force them to split away. Maybe they can isolate the Visage. Storm is still trying to slip out to the southern side. It's a beautiful Ice Blast, and Pure's gonna find the opening into the middle again. Onto Savage. He's got a buyback, but it seems like there's no hope as Pure wants some more members. They've been able to retreat safely on Talon. Huge potential with the opening fissure onto multiple heroes, going to force up into the middle. The Echo only tickles him, and Makoto will not survive. A solid
They're gonna go for Savage.
from Savage, but it will not do enough as Pure's in to celebrate. Down goes Savage. 5-man wipe, and the G's are dropped. Entity will get their revenge, knocking out Talon from the TI-11 main stage, and they will move on to play